I'm creating a new project, so under the projects panel here I'm clicking on new. This means that it's selecting the default template and creating a new project. First thing I'm going to do is on the quick access toolbar I'm going to click save, and I'm going to call this shed. I have one already in the class file, so I'm just overwriting it. Now what I want to do is I want to change the name of the levels in my drawing, so I right click on where it says level 1 for the floor plan and I say rename, and let's call this floor. And accept the change, which is that the level and the views are going to be named the same, so I say yes. Right click, rename, and the level 2 I'm going to call roof. If I quickly switch to the south elevation, you'll see that that was what was being renamed in addition to what is shown in the project browser. So if I go back to my floor plan here, actually I'm ready to start drafting. So if I go to the wall command, and on the options bar up here I'm changing to say that I'm drawing finished face exterior, and I'm making sure that the chain option is switched off, which means that I'm drawing one wall at a time, beginning and end of the wall. The default height is 20 feet. So I'm going to roll forward to get a little closer to the middle of my project and then start to draft. So when I draw here, you see that I can use the temporary dimensions to get the distance that I want, which is 16 feet. And then I've left the command. If I click again, I'm giving the beginning of the wall, and if I come down, I'm going to say I can either wait till it says 12 feet or I can type in 12. These are listening dimensions, so when I enter a value it listens for the value input and takes that as being the distance that I want to draft. The more you draw, the easier it gets, because now when I pick the end of my wall and I start to draft, I see a green alignment line that helps me draw back to the beginning of my shed here, and then I can do one more wall to come up to the top, and I've got my outline for my shed. I'm going to window around that left to right, including everything that's inside it, and then hit the delete key, because the other way that I can draw it is to use the rectangle command, and this time what I'm going to do is just eyeball very quickly the values in there. So I just placed it without thinking about the dimensions, knowing that I can pick the wall that I want to change. I could actually click on the extension line to see the sizes, and then when I can click on the dimension itself and tell it exactly what size I want that to be. Click on a wall, click the grip on the extension line until it's positioned on the outside of the wall, and then click the actual dimension and tell it the size that it wants to be, 12 feet. So that's another way to do it. Let me delete those and use a third method. The third method would be when I'm drafting my wall here, I'm going to turn on the chain command this time, so that when I draw I can watch the readout. I can use that if that's my preferred way of working. I can use my key-ins if that's what I want to do. I've still got the option of making changes, and I can see the alignment. And a faster way of me selecting objects to draw with is after I've got one of them in the drawing, I can simply right click and say create similar. That would be another way to create the walls.